Hi everyone, Nikki Plays here. Today we are talking about reading. I have a lot of books I want to read that I own in my TBR list, both Kindle, audiobook and physical print. And I am losing track of which ones I have read and which ones I have not. So today we're talking about TBR lists and yeah, I'm going to show you mine. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so this is what is essentially my master list. This is where everything that I have that I need to read, that I own for reading, is kept. As you can see, it is quite a large list. And this is just the novels or the singular books. It gets bigger. These are series. I have a fondness for series. And as you can see as well, I have not filled in the books, all of the books. I am partway through. I have colour coded it. I have put it into sections. And it looks very pretty. I'm not going to lie, it looks nice until we get to about here where I stopped. And then this is the stuff that I stopped sorting out. There is a lot still. Yes, I have a lot of books and I need to sort them out. But this is the master list. This is the one that I am going to slowly work through and pretty up and sort out when I've got a spare 10 minutes here or there, or an hour or so, and I don't know quite what I want to do. So I'm going to work on this and make it look nice. But yeah, it needs to be colour coordinated. I want it colour coordinated. I want it looking nice. And then I've also got complete works. So complete works of Charles Dickens, complete works of Jane Austen, complete works of Stephen King. That is going to be a long one. I have finished one. I have finished one. But yeah, some of these will be shorter, some of them will be faster. There is a lot of variety. For instance, a lot of this is YA. These are YA. I have them. Some of these are going to be rereads as well. But yeah, so I decided instead of trying to sort through all this to figure out which ones I wanted to read. As you can see as well, they've started to be put in alphabetical order. So some of this is just alphabetizing. I just need to alphabetize. Yeah. I have created instead a slightly easier to... Yeah, I have created instead of trying to use this one, a slightly easier to understand and to read version, which I believe is here. Yeah. So this is the 6-month reading list. These I've gone through and I've picked the ones that interest me the most. These ones I already have already. These ones I still need to get. So yeah, I've put to get. A lot of these are my print ones, so I can start deciding which ones I do want to keep and if I want to get rid of any of them. I've not got my entire printed library in this because I have a lot, but also a lot of them are reference. So they're things I'm going to come back to every now and then. Some are Kindle, some are audiobooks. I need to update the master list that I just showed you. But yeah, so it's a bit simpler as well. We've got the author and we've got the book name, what format they're in. So some of them are in all. So where is it? It should be around here somewhere. Where are you? Yeah. So really these three should be in all because I have Sabriel, Lyriel and Avawson in Kindle, print and audiobook because I actually really enjoy the series. But yeah, so if they're in a series, I've given the series a name. So this one I need to figure out what the name of that series is. This trilogy. I have a fondness of series, as you can see. And I have some that are standalone. Some that are reference books for my writing and stuff. So yeah, I have some I've already started already. I'm begun to read them. I haven't finished them. But yeah, I decided to do it, make it simpler and easier to read. Yeah, and then I can just use this to reference the bigger one, and get that sorted there. But yeah, so that is my lovely little to be read list. So as I've said before, I already have these ones. I have read them before. They are going to be a reread. So Terry Brooks. Basically it's the world of Shannara. That Shannara actually is. I didn't realise it when I first started reading it as a child or a young teen. It's actually like post-apocalyptic fantasy. So the idea of the world setting is it's set in North America after the world has been destroyed. I did not pick that up until I was older. And the first one, so the Sword of Shannara, is very Lord of the Rings coded. Very Lord of the Rings coded, right down to the main character who has to save the world, basically. Doing it on his own. They've got a wise wizard character. But you can see as he goes, like Terry Brooks, as he builds on his books, he's building the world, he's building this setting, and he's creating this mythology that it all links together. So these three sort of, the Armageddon's children, the Elves of Sintra, and the Gypsy Moth, they all go into how the world became the way it is. And then I fell off reading the Terry Brooks once I went to university, so quite a few years now. I've dipped in and out reading them now and then. But I always enjoyed his writing. It's fantasy I like to read. There's a lot of character conflict, like inner turmoil and stuff. And I like the world he creates. So I've definitely put that back onto my to be read list. And I would like to try and keep up with all of these. And I've got no excuse for not getting any of these books, because I am very close to a bookshop. But yeah, I sort of need to clear some more space on my bookshelf first. Okay, so the Five Nights at Freddy's ones. I am a sucker for lore. I am a sucker for game lore that you have to figure out and look for. And the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's is one of those that it is so dark when you look into it. Especially for the game that it's a horror game, so it's going to be dark. But yeah, it just gets darker the more you look into it. And I have read The Silver Eyes. It did not take me long. That was a book in a day. It's not the most amazing series I've ever read. It's not the most amazing book, but I have read worse. And I will reread it. And I do sometimes like a mystery that's not too complicated, especially if you know some of the story behind it. Like the game lore and the book lore is similar but different. And sometimes you just want that mystery that's like popcorn for your brain. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what it is. It's brain popcorn. When I want to read something but don't want to have to do too much thinking. So, A Discovery of Witches I have also read before, but I cannot remember how it goes. And I know there are two more. And I do remember reading A Discovery of Witches and having the story just end, and clearly having a cliffhanger. And I never actually was able to get around to reading the rest. So I want to get those. I have them in print. I have them on my bookshelf. I have not read these ones because I've got it as a set from, I think I got it from Temu actually, so it might not be the best quality, but they look nice. And As long as I can read them, that's all that matters. And the Book of Azrael trilogy, I have no idea what that is about. I'm getting the sense it's fantasy, and that is as much as I know. I know Azrael in Christian theology is an angel of death, and the broken gods and the cursed queen. That speaks fantasy to me, and possibly an attempt to save the world. So yeah, that one is going to be interesting to read. This is one I'm going to be going into completely blind. Like, I am going to have no idea what I am in for with this one. This series. The books themselves are not too thick, so I should be able to get through those fairly fast once I actually start reading them. But yeah, we shall see. The Garth Nix Old Kingdom. The first 3 books, well, the first book, that's Sabriel, I read in when I was a teenager at school. I used to hide in the library a lot because I just didn't like people much. Go figure. So I would sit in the library, I would read things. The librarian got to know me very well, so she would suggest things, and she suggested this. It's young adult, a bit, and it's very much a coming of age. So the main character starts off about 18. Most of them start off 18 or older, but they are very much, they're coming of age. They're getting used to their place in this new world, going from school to the real world, essentially. But it's magic, and it's like an alternate version of, say, maybe England. It's got the technology levels of I think the 30s and the 40s, and it's, when I first read it, I read it as the way I saw the world was, it's England, and then you've got Hadrian's Wall, and the north of that, where Scotland would be in the real world, is the Old Kingdom, where magic is very, very much real. And yeah, and the lore behind it, the world, is fascinating. And I very much may well do a video about it. And I've got it in print, and I have it in audiobook as well, so I need to adjust that. But the audiobook is narrated by the amazing Tim Curry. And hearing him do a voice for a 12-year-old girl is quite possibly one of the best things I have ever heard. I was listening to the audiobook at work, and I had to just stop and stare at the computer screen to stop myself from laughing. But yeah, I need to reread it. I need to finish them all. Clariel and Golden Hand, they are new ones, and they lead on from a portion. So Golden Hand is follow-on. Clariel is a prequel and touches on some characters mentioned in Lyriel and Haporson. And I think it's going to be fascinating. I've got a vague idea of what it's about, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see how Garth Nix is doing that. Garth Nix is also the guy who wrote the Keys to the Kingdom series. So you've got Mr. Monday and he's Drowned Tuesday or something. Yeah, the days of the week and stuff. It's he does YA fantasy really well. And it gets quite dark, really. But yeah, so the main characters, most of them are in some way, shape or form related to controlling powers. Essentially a necromancer who, instead of bringing the dead to life, puts the dead back to death. Makes sure they go into the afterlife. So it's an interesting look at seeing, it's an interesting look at death and how it's handled and stuff like that. Yeah. Next up we have Tolkien's works. Hobbit, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. The Lord of the Rings. I love those books. I have not read them in a long while, but the films I adore. I have both versions on DVD. I have both versions on digital. And I know far too much about Lord of the Rings, the the film to be comfortable sharing with people. I really, really loved The Lord of the Rings, especially growing up, because I grew up sort of pre-internet. So internet was only just sort of becoming a thing when I became a teenager. And the early days of the internet, you didn't have all these fan sites. You didn't have the big chat rooms. Or if you did, I did not know where to find them. Because you gotta remember, I was a teenager in semi-rural England. Yeah. And I was a massive nerd. So I had no idea about where half these cool things were. But yeah, so I want to reread them. The Children of Hurin I want to read from the beginning. I have started it. I cannot remember how it went, so I need to get it. Well, I have it. I need to restart from the beginning again. So Jennifer Taylor Grey and the Old Crones Club. I started reading that one. And it was really good. I could not put it down. And then I put it down to go and do something. And the new shiny thing distracted me. But it's a subversion of the evil old crone idea, the Wicked Witch. It's a subversion of that. It builds on fairy tales and makes it really cool. And at first you're trying to like figure out what is this world. And it's a bit dystopian. It's like fairy tale but dystopian, and it's interesting. And the stories of these characters, it twists the traditional fairy tale and just makes it really, really cool. And I need to finish it. I'm going to probably start from the beginning and reread it from the beginning. And then, yeah, I'll probably gush about it at some point on something like social media somewhere. Maybe X, maybe Instagram, who knows. But yeah, I saw this on TikTok, advertised on TikTok actually, and I bought it from TikTok. And it came with some badges and some bookmarks, and it's really nice actually, what it came with. It felt very fancy. And even my dad was impressed, like, because I happened to be still living with him when it arrived, and he was very impressed. He was like, oh, that looks really, really nice. Now hold this wallpaper so I can measure it. Yeah. And I was just sat there in the kitchen while he was wallpapering, reading my book. And now and then helping him hold things down, because he just needed that extra pair of hands now and then. Yeah. So, the next 3 books, these are more like craft books, so related to the writing and the world building and the editing. So if you watched a live stream or the VOD that I've got up, then you will know I'm working on a novel again. And I am trying to get back into it and trying to get it done and get it out there. And some of that I'm going to need world building, and sometimes I just don't know where to start or how in depth I should go, or like what bits I can just sort of poke to one side until I need them. And same with editing. So these are just sort of craft books to help me figure out where I'm going with this. The Iliad and the Odyssey, that is primarily because I got really into epic musical, so the concept musical that was getting big a while ago, and I've watched the and the fan movie with all the art. And I remember reading a child-friendly version of this when I was younger, and I enjoyed it. So I would like to read the actual book, not the original, because I cannot read ancient Greek. Although, maybe it's time to learn ancient Greek. But yeah, it's Homer, the Iliad, and the Odyssey. It's like that is the ancestor for the modern fantasy journey novel. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Okay, Z.A. Recht was a very good writer. I enjoyed his work a lot. And he wrote a trilogy about zombies. He was primarily a zombie writer. He did sadly pass away before he could finish the final book in the trilogy, but he had enough notes that the person who went on to write it was able to create a book that fitted with what he had originally planned. And also the writer who wrote the final book, Survivors, was also a big Z.A. Recht fan. Now, I have read this. This is very much a reread. And you can definitely tell that it is a different writer writing it, and that maybe it's not quite going where you thought it would. But it is still a good book, and it does nicely wrap up the story itself in a pleasing way that I think Z.A. Recht would have been quite happy with. But yeah, it's a take on zombies that's at the time was new, so it's fast zombies, but also slow zombies. So the Morningstar strain is a virus that we never really know where it came from, at least not in what I've read. It seems to have started somewhere in Africa, and then slowly it takes, well, kind of slowly, it spreads to take over the world. So there's an incubation period. You can get it from just inhaling the blood of an infected person, a tiny scratch that the blood has gone into, anything like that. Like, breathe it in and it gets through your mucous membranes, like breathe in infected blood. And it also does the whole, when they first get ill, they're still alive technically, they are just rage filled and they want to destroy you and bite you and eat you, and they are fast and strong. And then if they die, that's when they reanimate as your traditional slower zombies. So you sort of hit both tropes with it, and it is really good. You can tell Z.A. Recht was in the military. There is a lot of military stuff, but this time the military isn't the bad guy. Sometimes it gets a bit tropey in zombie media, where the army or the government or, you know, people in power are the bad guy. I mean, yes, there are people in the government and there are army members who are bad guys, but not all of them, and a lot of them just want to do what is right for themselves and their friends and all the other survivors. It is well written. The audiobook is actually really interesting because at first it's like the guy who narrates it, I cannot remember his name. He actually does it really well. Like, I forget as I'm listening that it's the same person doing all these voices for these characters because they sound so different. At least the men do. It's a bit harder for the women because it is a man trying to do a woman's voice. But you can definitely hear there's a difference in all the characters. You can audibly hear the difference. So yeah, I'm working through that again because I enjoy the series, and it's one of the books that actually got me into reading zombie books and not just watching films. The storybook is a writer's guide. That is writing. It's another craft book. But yeah, it's just quite good. And then we've got a bunch of books by T.W. Brown. Funnily enough, they are also all zombies. Yeah. Some I've read before, some I haven't, and I've got them on my Kindle and in my list. And I've read this first block here before, and they go fast. They are very easy reads. But it's been long enough since I last read them that I can't fully remember. So I'm happy to restart them so I can tick them off as well. And I know I enjoyed them. I think I've reread them a couple of times actually. And Dead, I haven't read those that I can remember. But if it's anything like the Zomblog saga, I'm going to enjoy it. So yeah. And then finally we've got The Girl with All the Gifts. I've got that in Kindle and audiobook format. It's one of those I'd like to know what the book is like versus the film. I've seen the film. I've started listening to the book. There is definitely a difference, and you get a lot more in the characters' heads. So yeah, I would like to see how the film compares to the book. And again, that might even be a video, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that is my list of books for the next 6 months. Yeah. I'd love to know what your TBR lists look like. It is very simple. It's not super complicated. Mine aren't. Well, the 6-month one is. The master list is very complicated. But the 6-month one is nice and easy and fast to use. I can add on to it quickly. I can copy things over, fix things. It's nice and easily colour coordinated. I hope you enjoyed. Or it's given you some ideas, book recommendations maybe. And other, maybe encouraged you to set up your own TBR list, break down some of the books you've still got to read that you've not actually started. I am making a rule as well, like I did with my planning for completion, that I cannot buy any more new books starting now until I have read the ones on this list. I can put a note of books I want to buy in my holding list. I have my holding list set up now, but I cannot buy anymore. So yeah. I will probably do a check-in in a couple of months to go through how far we've gone, or it might be the end of Q1 actually, so the end of September, to have a look at how well I've done, which ones I've read, if I've made a dent in this list at all. And the ones I have read, I might go into a little bit like, oh, this is what I thought of it, this is maybe what I might have done, or if I didn't finish it, if I started to read it and was just like, actually I cannot finish this, I cannot get into it. I don't think it would be the case with many of these because a lot of them are rereads, but it is a potential with some of them, and it's a potential with other ones. But yeah, so with regards to the reading, I will see you in about 2 and a bit months. Yeah, but in terms of my channel, I will see you next time. Look after yourselves, make sure you eat and hydrate, my darlings. Bye! Mwah.